Good morning, I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is facing increasing pressure to step down after a state investigation found he sexually harassed nearly a dozen women. President Biden is now among the latest to join those calls, saying outright that Cuomo should resign. But the governor has remained defiant, denying the allegations.
I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances.
Now, at least 2 county district attorneys have asked to review the state's findings as the state assembly promises to conclude its impeachment investigation as quickly as possible. And the CDC is extending the moratorium on evictions for 60 days in counties with high levels of COVID-19 transmission. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said the agency determined evictions could be detrimental to public health control measures to slow the spread. President Biden has been under pressure from progressive Democrats to extend the evictions moratorium, but even the president himself says the move is likely unconstitutional and may not hold up in court. And former President Obama is scaling back plans for his 60th birthday party. The Obamas had planned to host hundreds of guests this coming weekend on Martha's Vineyard. A spokesperson says they will now include only family and close friends due to the spread of the Delta variant. But there is some hopeful news in the race to vaccinate the country. The CDC is reporting that the rate of vaccinations in the U.S. has gone up 73% in the past 3 weeks, with full FDA approval for Pfizer's shot possibly just weeks away. Meanwhile, New York City is moving to require proof of vaccination for indoor activities like dining and going to the gym. Eva Pilgrim has the latest.
This morning, news that full approval of Pfizer's COVID vaccine is coming, likely just weeks away. Sources telling ABC News it could come by early September or sooner.
I do hope it's going to be within the next couple of weeks. They said hopefully by the end of the month. I hope it's even sooner than that.
The FDA fast-tracking the vaccine, taking an all-hands-on-deck approach. Full approval would open the door for more vaccine mandates with more cover from legal pushback. Several universities, hospitals, and the Defense Department are expected to issue mandates after full approval. Many health experts are also hopeful that some of those who are vaccine hesitant will feel more comfortable getting a shot with a fully approved vaccine. This, as New York City, the original epicenter of the coronavirus, announces it will become the first city in the country to require proof of vaccination to dine, work out, and do many activities indoors.
It's time for people to see vaccination as literally necessary to living a good and full and healthy life.
With COVID cases surging nearly 600% in the last month, the mayor calling the new mandate, which rolls out September 13th, the key to the city's recovery. But not clear what this means for children under 12 who are not yet eligible to be vaccinated. Officials say they're still figuring that out. President Biden pushing more in the private sector to require vaccinations and calling out governors of states who have banned mask mandates.
But you aren't going to help at least get out of the way of the people who are trying to do the right thing. Use your power to save lives.
This week, San Francisco General Hospital started accommodating what they call a supplemental shot of Pfizer or Moderna vaccine for those people who got the J&J shot and have consulted with their doctors on this. Now, the federal health officials are still saying there's not enough data yet to suggest that we need booster shots as of now, but trials are underway. Diane?
All right, Eva Pilgrim, thank you. Meanwhile, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson now says he regrets signing a ban on mask mandates and is calling a special session of the state legislature in hopes of reversing it. The news comes as the debate grows over masks in schools and more students head back to class. I want to bring in the president of the American Federation of Teachers, Randy Weingarten, for more on this. Randy, thanks for being here. How are teachers responding to this debate over mask mandates?
So, by and large, teachers want the mask mandates across the country. It's not that teachers like masks. It's really uncomfortable to teach in a mask. It's uncomfortable to be in a mask. It's part of the reason why ventilation systems really have to be better. But we've just been thrown a curveball with the Delta variant, and we want, more important than anything else, schools need to be open, full on, for kids, for a safe and welcoming and joyful school year. And we need to keep them open. And that's what the mask mandate will help do, since a lot of kids are not going to be vaccinated when we come back to school. And what appears to stop transmissibility of this very transmissible Delta variant are masks. So we reluctantly, agree, have been calling for it in light of what both the CDC and the Association of Pediatricians have called for. And last thing I'll say is our job is to create an environment that, helps all kids thrive. And so this politicization of everything, this polarization of everything is just making our job much, much harder.
Now, how has the Delta variant changed the calculus when it comes to reopening schools? Do you think we could see a return to remote learning if things get worse?
So I have to be very careful now with all of my words, because I was asked that question last week. And I said, look, we're really trying. And somebody confused that with, oh, my God, are they retreating? No, we're not retreating. We have to reopen schools. But the question is, how do you keep them open? And the Delta variant has thrown us a big curveball because we thought we'd be in a different situation right now. And so, we just have to make sure that the layered mitigation is in place so we don't have the disruptions that happened, in the first three surges. We don't want to open and then close. We don't want to open and then have, a huge swath of schools in the states, including LA, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, where you have these huge, surges now. We don't want all of a sudden school upon school to be in quarantine. So that's where the layered mitigation becomes really important, of some physical distancing, the 3 feet, and of having the mask wearing and good ventilation.
Now, New York City is now requiring vaccinations for most public indoor activities, and many universities are mandating vaccinations for their students. So do you see a vaccine requirement down the line for teachers?
Well, we agree with de Blasio's requirements of vaccines or testing. And let me be clear, I'm 1,000%, and our union is 1,000% for vaccines. And we've put out millions of dollars now in the last few months, not only to encourage to stand up vaccination clinics, but to encourage our kids and our families to get it. And 90% of our members, 90% of our members are vaccinated. So we're looking right now to see, can we convince the rest of the holdouts? Can we organize? Can we convince them? And if we can't, what other steps need to happen? I think that the full authorization of the Pfizer vaccine is going to be really important in terms of getting over that hump. But, we're looking at all alternatives to make sure that schools are safe and welcoming. But we've agreed with Joe Biden and with Bill de Blasio that vaccines or testing is important for employees.
And you said that educators have just been through the second most challenging year of their professional lives, but that the most challenging one starts this fall. Why do you say that? What lies ahead for teachers and students? Because
what's happened is we've had this cataclysmic pandemic that has disrupted everyone's lives and killed over 600,000 people and even though it's been the same pandemic for some, people have dealt with it or have been affected by it differently. And so it has raised all the equity issues, the trauma issues, the issues around academic learning. And so this year, we have to help kids get their mojo back and feel confidence again and feel a sense of normalcy, but also accelerate learning and also deal with all the social, emotional, and traumatizing issues of everybody being apart. That puts huge pressure on teachers to do everything to help our kids succeed. And teachers already are stressed. There was a RAND study last May that showed that 78% of teachers, twice the number of other adult workers, felt huge stress in not only in their lives, but because of the obligations that they have. So on top of that, you have this polarization, like in Florida, where you have the single highest number of cases this weekend, and you have a governor who says, I'm not going to do the safety precaution of having masks. So there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of obligation on teachers right now, but they're up to it and they want to help our kids succeed.
So, Randy, while we have you, I also want to get your reaction to the findings of this investigation into the New York governor. You're obviously known Governor Cuomo a long time. You served on his Education Reform Commission. So what do you make of these allegations and his response to them?
Look, and I say this more in sadness than anything else since I've known the governor for many, many, many years. What Attorney General James found was that the governor's conduct was repugnant. It would be repugnant, I can't even say that word, for any person in a position of power, much less the governor. But I found his response to be equally repugnant. These women stepped forward. This AG's report was done well and in the highest degrees of scrutiny, and instead of actually seeing that the charges are serious, the governor is still attempting to deflect politically. I think he has no choice but to resign, and it's really it's a sad day for New York, but it is a good day for the fact that the AG took this seriously and made it clear that these women had something that they needed to make sure was clear, and that we as public officials around the country need to make sure that that we do not brook harassment or bullying in the workplace.
All right. American Federation of Teachers President Randy Weingarten. Randy, we appreciate your time today as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Greece is having one of its worst heat waves in 3 decades, with temperatures above 100 degrees. More than 100 fires have burned through parts of the country over the last week, forcing evacuations and destroying neighborhoods. Inez de la Cuatara is just outside Athens with more on that. Inez, what's it like there?
That's right, Diane. Yeah, I mean, the destruction left behind here is truly unbelievable. I want to give you a sense of what it's like here on the ground. We're about a 30-minute drive from Athens. And if you take a look at this property, it has been completely charred. The trees, the cars, that building right there. We spoke to the man who owns this property. That right there, that was his home. It's now completely burned to the ground. He was here earlier. We spoke with him. He was in a state of total shock. He was frustrated. He feels he could have had more time to save some of his belongings, but he was frustrated with local authorities for holding him back. He didn't just lose his home. He also lost his workshop. He restores vintage cars for a living. This was his studio, if you will. Some of these cars are here. I mean, you've got that old Jeep right there. This one here, you can see the glass melted over the steering wheel. It gives you a sense of just how intense those flames were last night. And he was here this morning going through the rubble, could barely speak with us, just in total shock. He was one of thousands of residents who were told to evacuate overnight because of these fires. Now, more residents in other parts of Athens are being told to stay indoors. There's a stay indoor advisory because of the harmful particles in the air. So residents are being told to keep their windows shut and stay home. When you talk about what's fueling these fires, it's the scorching heat here in Greece right now. We are in the middle of Greece's worst heat wave in 3 decades, with temperatures yesterday at one point hitting 115 degrees. And that's what's making for these really dry conditions, making the ground very dry, which is causing these outbreaks. You can hear those planes right there, that helicopter still working, firefighters still working to put out blazes in some parts, just working overtime. They had to stop overnight. They picked up again this morning for safety reasons. So clearly the problem far from over. But it is really this heat that's fueling these outbreaks, not just here in the suburbs of Athens, but around the Mediterranean, with Italy, Albania, Turkey also seeing fires. The fires in Turkey turning deadly. The good news here in Greece is that no lives have yet been lost, thankfully, to these fires. But when you look at the property damage, I mean, officials are saying it's still too soon to say how many properties were damaged, but clearly in this area, properties completely destroyed. Diane.
All right, Inez de la Quatara in Athens for us. Inez, thank you. Coming up, U.S. track and field star Allison Felix has now qualified for every individual final at every Olympics since her debut 17 years ago. And hear the message from Simone Biles about her comeback in the arena. We're live in Tokyo after the break. Welcome back. American track and field sprinter Allison Felix has now qualified for the 400-meter final. This means Felix has qualified for every individual final she has been in since her Olympic debut in 2004. For more on that, let's go to Kenneth Moten in Tokyo. Kenneth, how big is this accomplishment to qualify every single time?
Pretty big, Diane. We've seen a remarkable show of athleticism from the 35-year-old Olympic sprinter who could make history with another medal win, and she could smash another record with a second medal win. Now, when it comes to Felix, she's just so impressive. The track star has won 9 medals across 4 Olympics, the most out of any female athlete in U.S. track and field history. What to expect out of the 400-meter final Friday? Well, Felix finished second at the U.S. Olympic team trials with a season best time of 50.02 seconds. And the first round of the women's 400 relay is tomorrow, final on Saturday. No matter what happens, Felix, who is an advocate for maternity protections and gender equality in sports, has already cemented herself into history there, Diane.
And Kenneth, U.S. women's gymnastics has left Tokyo. They're heading back to the U.S. now. Simone Biles posted saying that she'll forever cherish this unique Olympic experience, and she thanked everyone for the support. What do you think her legacy will be from these games, and what's next for her?
Well, her legacy will be that she will be one of the greats. Right now, she's the greatest of all time when it comes to gymnastics, but I'm pretty sure she has inspired someone who will come along and possibly break those records and shatter them, and thank Simone Biles for it. A 7-time Olympian. She's got 7 Olympic medals. And she's not done yet. We don't know what her plans are for the future, Diane. But when it comes to her greater legacy outside of what she's done in gymnastics, she's opened up the conversation when it comes to mental health and athletes. That is pretty impressive. There is an open discussion here. She's been pretty open herself, and that has done so much. And I will also say that as she proved that even though things can be tough, you're dealing with a lot, you're going through a lot, the eyes of the world are on you, that you can still get back on that horse or balance beam here in Tokyo and persevere. And that is quite a legacy, Diane.
And Kenneth, I know that you had the chance to explore the city yourself, so let's hear about it. K-Mo in Tokyo.
Reminder, Diane, we were in a little bit of a quarantine here in Tokyo. We were in a brief quarantine at the hotel when we landed, and then that 14-day media bubble quarantine. And so we couldn't go into public spaces. We couldn't walk on the sidewalks. I couldn't eat at restaurants, which was really tough for me. You know me. And so over the weekend, we finally got that all clear. All right, 14-day quarantine is over.
Keep your mask on.
Okay, but I'm still free, though.
No, because we have a mandatory escort.
All right, but I'm still free.
No, because you're being tracked on the phone by the Japanese government.
All right, well, quasi-free. Let's go.
Tokyo, the most populous metropolitan area in the world, 38 million people. The major city known for its mix of the modern and the traditional. So much history, so much culture, so much food. Barbecue your own dinner.
This was done.
Dessert on every corner.
On these crepe desserts, they got tuna mayo cheese salad. Yum. Oh, tuna pizza cheese. Teriyaki chicken mayonnaise salad. I don't think I'm gonna get one of those. All right, can I get something with ice cream, chocolate, load it up, strawberries, whatever you want to put on it. Okay. Oh, arigato. Ooh, I can't wait. Oh.
That's good. That's real good. The Olympics host city in a state of emergency due to the pandemic. But there are still plenty of iconic places to see.
This is one of the most famous crosswalk scrambles in the world, Shibuya Crossing.
An average of 2.4 million people cross through this famous intersection daily, hundreds on every crossing. And lots of foot traffic on one of the busiest streets in Tokyo, Takashita Street, a narrow quarter mile of fast food, shops, boutiques, and cafes.
Wait a minute, they got dog cafes here? All right, we don't have time.
Another revered animal in Japan, the cat.
In the Japanese culture, cats are very symbolic. They are important to this culture. And here at this temple, there's an entire cat shrine here where people can come and feel that spiritual connection. And also when it comes to cats, it's thought that they bring luck.
People come to this temple to buy these cat figurines and make wishes for their lives and the lives of their family. If that wish comes true, the temple replaces the cat figurine with another.
The keepers of this special place just told us someone's wish came true and actually gave us the honor of placing another cat here at the shrine.
From cat shrines to cafes. Japanese for owl, fakuro, also includes the Japanese word for luck, making the owl a beloved symbol to this country.
Good job, Bob.
Even with these majestic creatures, there can be some ruffled feathers.
Why are owl cafes popular here in Japan?
In Japan, lucky symbol.
Oh, they're a lucky symbol. Owls are a lucky symbol here in Japan. Okay, so we got some drama here in the owl sanctuary. So this is Kook here. This is Bob. Kook loves Bob, and Bob is like, I'm not ready to commit. Arigato. You can even have a drink with an owl. Cheers. This was mine. That was so cool. It was unique. I feel like there's a better phrase for me to use to talk about this experience. That was a hoot. You know I had to. You know I had to. Bob, that was a big guy, Diane, but I had to leave him right there.
Listen, you say Bob has commitment issues, but he looked like he had his eyes on you, Kenneth. I don't know. I know you also recently went.
Feed him.
There you go. That always helps. I know you went to two of the tallest towers in Japan too. What was that like?
So Diane, for what, almost 3 weeks now, people, you and our viewers have seen that beautiful Tokyo Tower right there behind me. Well, we decided to take a van over there. We did not walk because it's too hot for that. Look at this right here. This was a highlight of this trip as well. Just some stunning views from the Tokyo Tower. Let me tell you a little bit about it. We took a tour. The Tokyo Tower is a little more than 1,000 feet in the air, making it the second tallest structure in Tokyo. It was built as a communications tower in 1957. The look inspired by the Eiffel Tower, but of course the colors are different to comply with air safety regulations. Stunning 360-degree views of the city. My producer, Jenna, Diane, you know Jenna, she had a little bit of trouble going up into that Tokyo Tower. It was pretty incredible, but I will say she's also incredible. People should head to my Instagram or Facebook page to see what happens, to see if Jenna made it up the Tokyo Tower. It's fun. And you know, I couldn't just leave it at that, right, Diane? I just can't go. I can't give you the second tallest. I got to go to the tallest in Japan. So we went to Sky Tree. Yeah, you know Sky Tree? It is beautiful. It's they built it in 2012. It's modern. Take a look at this video here because I have never seen anything like this. It's the newest, tallest tower in Japan. The name Skytree speaks for itself, one of the tallest buildings in the world, and it was only built again in 2012. The city needed a new broadcast tower over 2,000 feet, so they built this one. It really merges traditional and the modern. It's state of the art. It was gorgeous. I wasn't nervous at all, Diane.
I think Jen is going to have a different report on that. We'll have to check in on her and more on that. But it's the glass floor that gets you every time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is.
K-Mo in Tokyo, always great to talk to you, friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
And coming up, swim instructors are in short supply right now, but kids can still learn some important water skills. When we come back, the lessons parents can teach their kids to help keep them safe. Welcome back. Experts are warning that a lack of swim lessons may be putting more kids at risk of drowning this summer. Many kids missed out on lessons last year due to pool closures. Now newly reopened pools are struggling to find enough swim instructors. And that means many families like mine still can't find swim lessons for our kids. So I went to the experts to find out what we can teach our kids while we wait for more lessons to open up. Swim lessons are one of the most important layers to water safety, but getting them isn't always so easy, especially this year.
Many people have not had access to water over the past year, likely haven't had access to swim lessons. So children may not have the swimming abilities that we might expect. They also might have regressed a little bit.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission says drowning is the leading cause of death for kids ages 1 through 4, and, quote, limited experience around the water due to recent social distancing restrictions could put them at greater risk of drowning. But the U.S. Swim School Association says even as more pools reopen, most now have long wait lists for swim lessons, due in part to swim instructor shortages and capacity limits due to COVID.
We're going to learn something new.
That's leaving many kids like my son unable to get a spot. We tried to put him into swim lessons, but the pool nearby us is still closed, and all the other ones in the area were all booked up.
We certainly have more inquiries than we can meet.
Brendan O'Melveny from Imagine Swimming in New York City says he hears from frustrated parents every single day. He says under constant supervision, there are some things parents can teach their kids in the meantime. His first tip, teach your child that they need to be invited into the water with a cue like 1, 2, 3, jump before they get in.
Yay!
1, 2, 3, under.
Next, Brendan says it's important to get little ones used to water on their faces. You can ease into this by starting with shoulders, neck, and ears before finally getting the full head and face.
We want them to be used to water in their face so that then they can learn to take a breath, hold it or blow bubbles, and go underwater and be totally calm and relaxed and in control.
Another important skill, the back float, aka the starfish. Brendan says to put your face over the child's as you hold them, so they look at you and keep their head back. To get out of the pool, teach kids to monkey walk along the wall to the nearest stairs or ladder. You can even teach them to lift themselves over the edge.
Yay!
Most importantly, Brendan says go at your child's pace.
Wait for mommy. Can you
Be calm and patient.
Sit down like
this?
And remember to have fun.
Good job!
And parents can also check out the Red Cross Swim app, which is full of tips and videos. Of course, none of this replaces the skilled learned in real swim lessons, and nothing is a replacement for adult supervision, but it can help give your kids a head start once they do start swim lessons. And that does it for this newscast. I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for joining us. And remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. Eastern for the breakdown. Stay safe and have a great day.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.